Hi everyone, Amanda Jane here, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to increase the number of stitches in your crochet. So crochet increases is a really useful skill to learn, and it's actually very easy. I've done a small sample of 10 stitches here, and I've just done a rows of single crochet US terms. That's a double crochet in UK terms. So I've got 10 stitches. Just let's check the stitch count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I've just done a turning chain there. Now, because I'm doing single crochet, I'm going to work into the very first stitch. And we're going to, first of all, we're going to increase at both ends, just to show you how to do it. So it's very simple. You do your single crochet, or double in the UK, I'm going to stop saying that now, single crochet into the first stitch as usual, but then you do another one. So that's how you increase. Now it will create a slightly larger hole because you've obviously pushed 2 stitches into the same place, but because this is on the edge of your work, it's not really going to show, and it's likely to be used when you're doing an increase for, say, sleeves. Something like that. Sleeves, you always, if you're doing a graduated increase, you're going to have those increases along the sleeve. So I'm just working my way to the end, and to increase at the end, you go right to the end, the very last stitch, and you do 2 single crochet into that last stitch. 1 turning chain, and then you can check your stitch count. So we had 10, we should now have gone to 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's simply doing 2 stitches into the same stitch from the row below, and that would be the same if you're doing a double crochet or a half double crochet or most other stitches. So let's just work across here, and if you're doing one in the middle of the row, which would be something that you would do if you're working in the round or perhaps making a collar, you would do, say, 2 stitches here. So that's an increase, and you'll see this INC on patterns, and you'll just have to follow the instructions in order to get your increase correct. So we did one in the middle of the row there, or roughly in the middle. So what if I want to decrease? Now you can just see that increase in the middle here. Say I now want to decrease. Let's not decrease at the ends, we'll decrease in the middle first of all. So I'm going to work my way across to the middle. By the way, I'm using a size 4mm crochet hook and some lovely sort of tangerine colour crochet cotton, and chatting and crocheting at the same time is not always a good idea. Just do a few more and then I'll do the decrease. So crochet increase, crochet decrease, 2 important skills. So I go into the next stitch where I'm decreasing, and then instead of finishing that stitch off, I'm going to continue into the following stitch and then complete it. And there we've turned 2 stitches into 1, and then we continue on our merry way. So that's how you do a single crochet decrease, and you'll see the abbreviation DEC. Now I won't decrease at the end. We'll turn our work over and have a look at what's happened on this side. So it doesn't really show up. Our increase and our decrease are really subtle here because we've used the same stitch all the way across. So that's how to do it in the middle, that decrease. Let's do a single crochet decrease at the beginning of the row. Now, technically, you could just skip that one and go to this one. That works, and that's absolutely fine. It does get rather confusing as to which is your last stitch. When you come back the other way, where do I finish? You've got to be very careful to go into that stitch there. So that's one way of decreasing, is just sort of skip over a stitch. The other way is to do what we did in the middle of the last row, and is to start a stitch, single crochet, go into the next one as well, and then do yarn over and all three. Then this loop becomes much more noticeable when you're on the other side. So let's stick with this one for the moment. We just finished the row. It's not a very long row. So increase, if you make amigurumi toys, which are made using single crochet, you will be increasing and decreasing all the time, because that's what gives you the shape of the heads and bodies and arms and legs. And so learning to keep track of your increases and decreases for amigurumi toys is very important. Now I've come to the last two stitches here, and if I turn my work slightly towards me, I can see those two little V's. So I'm going to join these together for my decrease. Start those two stitches, yarn over and pull through, turning chain, and off we go to the races. Now we could just let's do the next row by just skipping this first stitch here. Now it doesn't really give us, it gives us more of a slope, and that might be what you want when you're doing a cardigan front, because you don't want that cardigan front to be stretchy. You want the band up the front to be quite firm. So this might be a good way of doing a decrease. A little bit more yarn there. Just like so. And what happens when we get to the end of the row, we'll find our last two stitches, we'll skip this one and go into the next one. So that is another way of decreasing, and I think that works very well with a fatter stitch like a half double crochet. That's probably the better way of doing a half double crochet. Let me just do a few half double crochet and explain what I mean. I'll just do them, just do a few. I'll turn back on myself. So these are half double crochet, half trebles in UK terms. And the issue becomes clear. Just go across to the middle, and then I'll turn round and show you what I mean. If I'm going to decrease with a half treble, now I've done one turning chain, I'm going to start my half treble here. I've started my half treble. I'm going to do exactly the same in the next stitch, and then I'm going to close them all together. That gives you a very fat stitch. No other way to describe it really. That does not look as nice as if you'd simply skipped a stitch. So I would suggest that when you do your half treble decrease, half double in the US, then you just skip a stitch like I've done there and continue. And that gives you a slight gap but it doesn't give you this bulk here. And it will very much depend on the sort of yarn you're using, and if it's thicker it won't matter with this because it will just disappear, and if it's looser you've got a bigger hook, you've got more drape, it doesn't matter. On sort of quite firm projects with non-stretchy, non-fluffy yarn such as cotton, I think it's better to do a skip for your decreases on a half double crochet. So this is my, oh, I've made a boat. This is my little tutorial for today, how to increase using single crochet at the ends of your work and in the middle, how to decrease in two ways, either by doing 2 stitches together or by skipping a stitch. So there we have it. In the next video, I'm going to talk a little bit about increasing when you're crocheting in the round. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video on crochet, increase and decrease. Thanks so much for watching. Press the subscribe button and the bell for notifications of upcoming videos, and I look forward to speaking to you very soon. Take care. Bye.